Hey, my name is Kevin. I'm owner and CEO at Deluxe Porta Potty Incorporated, here with Breaking the Biz podcast.
Breaking the Biz. Breaking the Biz. Breaking the Biz.
Stay tuned for today's episode of Breaking the Biz, an informative podcast where we dive into the world of entertainment by interviewing seasoned professionals who have made their mark in the industry. Gain invaluable insights as they share their personal journeys, offering advice on navigating the dynamic landscape of the entertainment industry. Whether you're an aspiring actor, musician, filmmaker, author, animator, or any creative soul, tune in for expert career guidance, insider tips, and first-hand accounts on breaking into the entertainment industry. Get ready to unlock the secrets behind successful careers and fuel your own passion for the limelight. Please remember to like this video and to subscribe to our channels for more great conversations.
Greetings from Breaking the Biz, brought to you by Yes I Can Unity Through Music and Education. I'm William Felber, your navigator through the intriguing universe of the entertainment industry, as revealed by the visionaries and creators who bring it to life. Stay tuned as we delve into diverse insights from the forefront of entertainment, hearing from pioneers, creators, and agents of change. Prepare for a journey filled with tales of innovation, resilience, and the undying quest for artistic brilliance.
Welcome to Breaking the Biz podcast with the Yes I Can crew. We've got a great guest with us. We have Kevin Meraz, who is the owner and CEO of Deluxe Porta Potty. The goals of Deluxe Porta Potty is to help match the luxury, elegance, and vibe of our clients' events with beautiful and unique restroom experiences, trying to remind their clients that whether it's the primary restroom or an additional, the overall restroom experience at an event shouldn't be overlooked. Deluxe is a small family-owned business where they strive to go above and beyond to make sure employees are happy and taken care of, which extends to their customers as well. As a business owner and union Set Paramedic for the entertainment industry, Kevin's experience with portable restrooms, special events, leadership, and overall safety is very strong. Looks forward to continuing to serve the industry as a whole and creating lasting relationships with clients. So I want to thank you so much, Kevin. Obviously, in the past, we have thrown lots of large scale events and music festivals and a VIP restroom or just a restroom in general. You would be surprised how many people leave talking about that experience. And people are so willing to pay a little bit extra just to make sure that they have that luxury and they're not going into the typical porta potty. So I know we're speaking the same language.
Yes, definitely. Like you said, though, we do try to cater to all, but we do try to stick to the VIP because our restrooms are very upscale. And if you put it out to the general public, it can kind of get messed up and things like that. People just don't really respect it as much as at a VIP area. Plus, we
No,
we we have we do highly recommend restroom attendants. So our restroom attendants, they're dressed professionally for the occasion. They're trained on the function of the units. They can troubleshoot anything that's might go wrong. They can keep the unit clean, stocked. They can assist guests as needed, assist guest flow. Just to make sure the event and everything is going well, so it's the best experience possible. So that's
100%.
yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, obviously, when you're talking about an event like Coachella, where people are paying, that there's a regular general admission ticket, there's a VIP, and then there's like the next level VIP for artists, family, friends, and musicians. And those restrooms obviously never have any waits, and they're extremely clean and taken care of. And when you're in the hot sun, you just want to have that experience for sure. So I
Yeah.
want to,
Yeah.
before we dive into what you guys do and how you became CEO and started the company, I want to talk about your early education. You do paramedic as well as owning this business. What did you want to do when you were a young kid? What was like the dream job?
When I was younger, the fire department was my main goal. I started out at College of the Canyons, taking fire technology, general ed, did my EMT, emergency medical technician, which is below a paramedic. Did that at all at College of the Canyons. I was always kind of interested in business though. I had like snow delivery business when I was in high school. Ended up becoming like a charity thing for kids with cancer, but we used to like collect snow, deliver snow. So I always, liked being in business. My grandpa was in business and construction. He came here from Mexico and then my did construction and then my dad worked for him. My dad had his own construction business. So I've always liked business, but the fire department really appealed to me. I started doing that EMT, like I said, College of the Canyons, and a lot of it's like a lottery system and stuff like that to get hired with some of these bigger departments. I went the paramedic route to try to go into paramedic school from EMT to a paramedic, worked on 911 ambulance, doing all that to try to, up my resume to get into the fire department. But that never ended up working out. So yeah, I ended up, my mom worked at Kaiser in the pharmacy and I was working as a paramedic on an ambulance. And when you're just working as a single function paramedic in Southern California, you're not really making much, and that wasn't really my end goal. So my mom working at Kaiser Pharmacy, she, would take care of her her people, like she'd made friends, she was just a really good worker and very friendly. And she became friends with, this one guy named Jeff, and she saw on his insurance that it was motion picture industry insurance. So she's like, "Oh, what do you do?" And he's like, "I'm a set medic." And I had always seen that, but it's a small niche. So I never knew how to get my foot in the door. I never knew anything about it. It's a really like, studios is a very nepotism business. So she met him. She's like, "Oh, my son's a paramedic. He's looking to do something else." So she helped me get my foot in the door with him, and he kind of like told me how to get started with the union, and I sent resumes to production companies, got all my own equipment, and just kept pushing for like a year or two to just try to get my union days and getting into the union as set paramedic. So anything that's union, like TV shows, movies, commercials, anything that's union, anytime they're building something, they're prepping a scene or they're shooting a scene or they're like tearing down a scene in a different location, we're doing different locations, they always, a union requires a paramedic or a set medic on set. So that's what I do in that aspect.
I love that. And we'll talk about networking, but that is obviously a great example of first of all, your mom being friendly and talking to people and taking care of people, but
Hmm.
to notice the motion picture, obviously motion picture insurance is phenomenal. First of all, in being part of a union is very important, but I loved how you talked about that niche. I as an educator, I had the opportunity of being on set and being the teacher on set.
Okay, yeah.
And what a complete, uh, a great experience it was. I mean, like, it was filming in Big Bear, and it was for the Chamber's travel tourism department, but they were highlighting like the candy shop and certain elements, and there were two young kids that were in charge of going through and picking out candy, and I had to work with them, and they're allotted 25 30-minute breaks, and whenever they say we're tired, you have to cater to that, but again, paid extremely well, quite different from a regular high school teacher situation. So anytime there's entertainment involved, it's always amazing. So as you mentioned, the pay, is it completely a different scale as far as when you're on set as a paramedic?
Like the pay from when I was working on the ambulance
Yeah,
911 and
yeah.
oh yeah, I mean it's double the amount and after 8 hours we're getting time and a half after 12 hours. I mean, we're always working long days where I'm well, we just finished the season, but I'm like the main set medic on Criminal Minds. So, we're working, 13, 14-hour days, so you're getting good pay, double the amount I was making on the ambulance, plus time and a half after 8 hours, double time after 12 hours. And I think it's actually like double time after 10 now. They changed it, or like triple time after 12 now. And then sometimes we won't get our meals, we won't get our, lunch breaks, and like for after 6 hours, I believe it is. So then we get meal penalties. So it all adds up. But the production companies are also trying to save, you know what I mean, as much as they can. But you do what you gotta do to get the filming in or whatever. So,
Okay, perfect. Talk me through the process of joining a union, this particular union, as far as paramedics go.
yeah, so the my particular union, which I'm local 80, so we're part of like IATSE is the main union. It's the International Association Theatrical Stage Employees. So they're the main, they run everything. And then below IATSE, there's, branches of unions. There's, Local 44. There's Teamsters. So I'm part of Local 80. So Local 80 is the Set Medics, Marine Department, Grips, and Craft Services. So basically, you have to be a set medic is really only as a minimum is EMT. Because EMT and paramedic is different. Paramedic, I can get push IV, I can give IVs, push medications, read EKGs. We're advanced life support. EMT is basic life support. Anyways, but to be a set medic, you only need to be an EMT, and then you just go into the union hall, local 80, and you tell them what you want to do and see if they have orientation available. You take the orientation, they kind of tell you like how everything's going to work. And you're pretty much from there, you're just pretty much on your own. It's kind of a gray area because you're not working for like a county on an ambulance and we're running under certain protocols. Um, but that's another situation. But yeah, so basically joining and taking the orientation, and the goal is to get 15 union days within 1 year. But all the members like it's really difficult to do because um, all the members have to be working for them. You become a permit after the orientation. You become a permit, so then you're able to work on union shows, TV shows, movies, but you're not a member yet. You're just a permit. So they have to have all the members working, and then once they all the members are working, then they'll hire into the permits, and that's when you try to get days here and there. I was working on the ambulance company at the same time, and I had a mortgage for a townhome at the time, and I was trying to. It was hard to go from making a consistent pay to and then calling off when I would get a union day just to try to get that one union day within a year. But like I said, if you get those 15 union days within that 1 year, then can pay your dues and become a member.
Perfect. And it makes total sense, right? And again, it just shows you how you have to balance and be very strategic to make it happen. Once you are part of the union, you can then be on set as paramedic for any union show, film, movie, commercial, etc.
Yes, yeah. Once you're a member, yeah, you can work on anything that's union anytime you want. But at the same time, if it's not really busy, I mean, you're a union, you can work on anything you want, like anytime, doesn't matter if you're a member, but you still have to find your own work. You know what I mean? You can be a member and not have good contacts. Like a lot of during COVID, we had to hire extra medics, and a lot of medics got in during COVID because we had to hire a whole bunch of extra medics, and they became members, but they never really built up their contacts and for producers and other medics and this and that. So they got in the union. So you can be a member and really not work that much. You know what I mean? But I've become a member. I put in my time and met a lot of different contacts, and then became a member. And so now being a member, I get a decent amount of work, but it's still you really got to kind of find your own work.
And Criminal Minds, I'm guessing, obviously, constantly filming. Is that out here in Santa Clarita that they do most of their filming?
They are our stages are at Quixote in Glendale, right off the 5 freeway there. You see it there. That's
Hmm.
where like our main stages are, like everything that's inside that they do a lot of filming, like the um I forget what you call it, but like the BAU and things like that. Anything that's on the show a lot. And then like most of our locations are actually like Pasadena, Altadena. Sometimes we'll do Disney Ranch out in Golden Oak Ranch, do some like stuff, but that show's based back east. So they're trying to find, old buildings, old looking houses and stuff like that to make it look like back east.
Got it. Okay. I love that. So while you're doing that, was it a networking opportunity that led you to how did you get into the porta potty business?
Well, so when you're on set, when we're on locations, they bring in a restroom for the crew members to use the restroom, right? and they bring in a restroom trailer, and the the restrooms they're not they're just a basic restroom trailer. So they bring those in, so they can use them. But I saw the restrooms and saw that, these are pretty nice restrooms, and like it's a restroom trailer. Like nobody's really even seen a restroom trailer, especially like if you work in the studios, you've seen a restroom trailer, like, oh yeah, it's a restroom trailer. But to other people, it's it's a kind of an abnormal thing to see uh a restroom like on a trailer like that with air conditioning and whatnot. And so I just had the idea of, well, I had a friend that was doing it, and I had an ex who was an event planner. So we kind of put things together, and like, hey, we can use these luxury, these restrooms, make them nicer, put chandelier lighting them in, put a backlit LED mirror in them, and make them for events. It's a different market. It's restroom trailers on a set. They only want their that's not their main thing, is to part of their budget is to bring a restroom. So they're not really paying that great. And it's there 5 days a week, 12 hours a day, or whatever it is. But doing events, you completely change the market, and it's a luxury restroom trailer. You make them a little bit nicer, add a restroom attendants to it, and you're doing like 1 day things. Sometimes drop off the day before, and then the event's on a Saturday, and they hedge it. It's just a completely different market to take it out of the studios and put it into events and private parties.
I love that. So we are currently working in an entrepreneurial class at College of the Canyons, and I talk about the fact that as an entrepreneur, you can come up with an idea, or you can solve a problem and or elevate something that's already out there and make it better, or you can be an entrepreneur and a company uses your idea and makes a lot of money, and you make money for a company. So in this case, you come up with the idea, which I think is absolutely fantastic, because it takes just what could be a restroom to the next level. And people, females notice it, guys notice it. Like that experience, it does translate. So
Yes.
talk me through uh starting the company, how many trailers, talk me through the growth.
So I started the company. I mean, I started the company at first. Uh, I started the website first because I knew I needed to work on the SEO. I started my LinkedIn, trying to connect with event planners. But I have connections, of people that I know that build restroom trailers, and they rent out their restroom trailers. So in the beginning, I mean, for the first 7 months, I, started the website, started networking, and I would basically sublease restrooms all the way from Riverside, bring them down, to LA area, run jobs, and, just up, obviously charge more to my clients, and, try to make a little bit of money that way. 7 months in, then I ended up building my own restroom trailer, and then I made it, nice with like a backlit LED mirror, chandelier lighting, full length mirror in one of them, and just, as upscale as can be. So I started that one. That was a 4 station, but it was a 4 station restroom, but I wanted to have it multi-use, right? So it's a single axle trailer. So I was able to make the layout and like the stalls and whatnot, and basically, crunch it down as much as I could. So because a lot of the places we're putting these restroom trailers are on private properties in Beverly Hills and here and there, and it's hard to fit them. Like, so you need like small as trailer as you can. So if I was able to do a 4 station that was small enough, like as a pretty much the size of a 2 station, so I could sell it as a 2 station because it's small enough that way, or I can use it as a 4 station or a 3 station. So now, like, I'm kind of, with my first trailer, I was able to get, three, 2 station, 3 station, and a 4 station, all in one with one trailer, and in a compact size.
Okay, I love it. um and now talk me through some of the biggest events that you guys have done.
Um, we've done a lot of well, we're doing one this weekend. We've done it for the last 4 years, and when I first did this event, I had to sublease every single trailer, and now I own all the trailers. So now, I'm making the profit. So I mean, that's shown the growth. that from, in like 4 years. And so yeah, this is like a red dress party down in Palm Springs. It's pretty far, so we have to end up having to charge extra for the gas and fuel. But it's like I said, it's the fourth year doing it. That's a really big event. They use a 10 station, a 5 station, and a 4 station. So that'll be, three drivers, four attendants. That's 19 units, stations total. So that's a pretty big party. But we'll do a lot of Oscars parties. We did an Oscars after party a couple weeks ago. We do like with Jane Seymour, American Heart Association. She works with them, so we'll do stuff with her. Like she puts on dinner, so they want a nice restroom. Um, Planned Parenthood, they're coming up with a big event because part of their area in Altadena got kind of burned down, so they're opening up a new headquarters in Pasadena. So we're doing a groundbreaking for that. And it's just we've done so many like big events and things that it's just they're hard to like think of. But
No, and those are all
yeah,
fantastic. And it obviously Oscars is probably like the most posh
yeah,
thing you can think of.
yeah.
So
It's a cool one. It's a cool one, man. Like especially after parties and like they're all the stars are there, and it's a yeah, we also did one in Malibu where it was like Adam Sandler. I forget it was a like a fundraiser for certain like disease or something like that, but they used a fundraiser and there was a whole bunch of stars there. And my restroom attendants were killing it. They're like advertising. So like from there, like, oh, we did a big for Jamie Foxx, we did his daughter's Sweet 16. And well, he got our info from that party, like, so it's good to get that big clientele because they'll pay the money.
no,
That's what it comes down
and
to.
it's a great example too. Like not only are you networking, I loved how you mentioned using LinkedIn and navigating that, reaching out to party planners and kind of showing your awareness, right? Like these are all the things that people just think, oh, like you come up with an idea and you make money and it doesn't work that way. You've got to put some strategy into it. You've got to put some blood, sweat, and tears into it.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, you went from renting trailers to building your own trailers to now you're at that point where you own your all of them, right? That just shows you the growth and shows that you have to put in the work. But I love the fact that you even have your attendants who obviously communicate effectively and are classy, also networking and pushing it. But that's like there's nothing better than natural networking off of someone seeing a product and going, absolutely, it makes total sense. Why wouldn't I? So I
Yes.
love that.
Yes.
Talk me through how do you balance doing that and being on set and being, the union? Like, how are you operating at this point in order to do everything?
I get my times when I'm working on a show full time, and when I'm doing trailers, but I do have a couple employees now, who drive for me. I have a couple cleaners who are able to clean for me. So, when I'm at, I even have my parents involved and like I'll have my mom take calls, and they're able to make some extra money and make it like a family business, get everyone involved. But yeah, just it can be difficult when I'm working 60, 70 hours a week on set and I'm doing trailers on the weekend, but I just gotta bust through because I know that's sometimes the busy time. But the good thing with the studios is now I'm to the point to where I'm doing so well with the trailers is, we get our medical insurance, dental insurance, vision, all that, and then, the pension and whatnot. And basically, I can work one show, Criminal Minds, for five months out of the year, and I can basically get all my hours because you can bank your hours with motion picture pension and health plan. So you can bank your hours, so I can have my health insurance. And then the last time I've worked in the studios was in December, and I still have my health insurance and all that for another year because I banked hours and built up those hours. So that's the good thing about the studios is it kind of gives you that flexibility to be able to, there's a lot of like, musicians and things like people like that work in the studios because you're able to sometimes have that flexibility to be able to do things like this, like a business.
I love it. How many employees do you have?
I have the three employees, four restroom attendants.
Okay. And you
Yeah.
mentioned family business. You got your parents answering phones and holding it down.
Yeah, yeah. They're retired. They're living in Tehachapi. It helps them out, helps me out, helps us, be able to spend time together and work together. So yeah, and I have good restroom attendants and that's yeah. So
When you are hiring, talk me through the what you're looking for when you are hiring someone new.
um the hardest thing to find is good drivers because they're driving my trucks, which this all the business also takes trucks, to which and the upkeep of that and the mechanical maintenance of that and but I look for the number one thing is I look for someone that's a good driver and not just a good driver, someone that can tow. Like a lot of people can tow a trailer, but to be able to really be really dang good at driving a trailer and backing a trailer into spots. And sometimes we have an electric trailer dolly that we can move around and disconnect the truck, move the trailer into tight spots. But the biggest thing is someone that can tow and who's like and a little bit of mechanical aptitude, if something goes wrong, but be able to tow and be able to back a trailer into it, it's hard to find someone that's really like good at that. That's hard.
Okay, I love it. Um, talk me through um, challenges with your business.
Um, I mean, there's the challenges are just being able to just kind of keep everything rolling, and just being able to like would you say like challenges financially or like
It could be financially, it could be staffing.
um yeah, I mean mainly just keeping our clients happy, keeping on schedule and keeping the event planners happy, and just the challenges of being able to, make money doing it because there's a lot of insurances and things like that, and just really just the challenge of like getting over that hump, and because it's large investments to buy these trailers and getting over that financial. I did it all on my own. Like I didn't have any family money or anything like that. I've had support, from my parents helping me, but everything I've bought on my own, so it's hard to be able to continue to keep things rolling and to get to the point where you're actually finally making money.
Okay. What's next? What with the business? If you could see it going in any different direction, or you obviously steer the ship, where do you want to see the business go? Do you want to have permanent structures? Do you like the flexibility of doing different events?
I kind of want to, I don't think I need to get too much bigger, maybe a couple more restroom trailers and do the events, but I feel like it just becomes more of a headache getting bigger. Maybe I was thinking about possibly I have an aunt and uncle that live up north, maybe kind of expanding a couple trailers up north, doing some, events up north there, but that's, expanding my SEO. But what I'm really focused on doing is I'd like to get like a pump truck because when we dump these trailers, the waste and stuff, I'm I have a storage like a yard. I have a yard, we're dumping there, but sometimes we need to, and I always base like an event like that the whole waste tank and the water is gonna. I give them the right trailer, so it's gonna last for that 5 or 6 hours. But sometimes we need to have a pump truck come in there and pump out the waste. Or now I'm getting calls. We're so high on SEO to where I'm getting calls to people to pump out their RV trailer and this and that. So getting a pump truck and basically making a DBA and being like deluxe sanitation and kind of branching off and being into the sanitation, maybe getting into septic. You know what I mean? Because it's all in the same general spectrum. And getting that's kind of an idea.
You can tell you've got that entrepreneurial mind right there, right? Like, and I want our listeners to see that's how you take the next step, is thinking about using your skill set, using connections. Where's the need? There will always be a need, and as long as you can figure out the need, you're going to be golden. So when you are dumping, where do you dump? You mentioned like there's probably a lot
I
of
I
nasty.
have I have a yard where I keep my trailers at. That's where they have a dump, that's connected to the sewer there.
Got it.
And like I said, I always base like so if there's a wedding with 150 people, it's like usually normally 50 people per station, which is a urinal or a toilet. So I give them a 3 station. It's a 5 6 hour event. I know it's gonna last. You know what I mean? But there's certain times where they need it for multiple days, and I need to sublease out and get someone to come and pump the trailer like, because it's on site, and I can't pick it up, bring it back to my yard, and then bring it back. It's yeah.
So that's obviously that's where the next business, like you mentioned. Do you need to have any certification in order to deal with septic waste?
Yeah, there's like a city DOT. I know like a DOT and like sanitation. But I don't think there's any special license or anything, but I haven't really like found that out yet. But I do know there's like of course like a city sanitation DOT number you got to get.
Obviously, always something in Santa Clarita, right? They always make you jump through hoops.
Yeah, of course. I mean, the city of Los Angeles is really the bigger pain, you know, with their extra tax, you know, you got to pay your taxes, charge your sales tax of state of California, and then you got to pay the sales tax of you know, the city of Los Angeles, you know, and then but yeah. So,
Well, I want to first of all also commend you on receiving the award 40 under 40 in Santa Clarita, and that you're making an impact and doing amazing, cool things here with the business. So kudos on that. Is there a mantra that you find yourself using or saying that keeps you positive or focused?
what do you mean by that? Like a
You
mantra?
know, like every day I go, every day's it's paradise, and another day in paradise. I
Yeah.
have myself saying even when it's definitely not paradise, but
Yeah.
it's just something to keep
For su- for sure.
positive.
Yeah. I mean, I work out and that helps me and just coming into my office and just kind of, you know, looking what you've had or what you've built and even going on YouTube and, you know, listen to like you know, something that's like positive, you know, positive affirmations, you know, what I mean, sometimes you need that stuff and, you know, and it's okay to, you know, maybe do a little meditating, you know, thanking the universe or God or whatever you really believe in. But yeah, definitely just being thankful every day for what you have and what you've worked to get in, you know, to keep it rolling and just keep positive.
Okay. I love it. Um, Share a time where you had to step out of your comfort zone for the sake of professional growth.
Um, I'm, I don't know. I mean, I'm not really sure. I mean, working as a paramedic and on an ambulance and then going and working like in the studios on movies and TV shows, that's completely different type of people you're working with. So that was out of my comfort zone, what I was used to. But it was actually nice because I was always around hospitals and things like that. You know, you're around, you know, different vibes, but it's different people, and it was out of my comfort zone. You know, and then just doing the aspect of the marketing and working with event planners. You know, that's it's not really my specialty to be like a talker and you know to work with these event planners. You know, I'm more of like the guy that tows and you know can fix things and whatnot. But you know, you got to if you want to really want to master a business, you got to learn every aspect of it. You know, you got to be able to do every single aspect of it, and you know master it. So then you can teach other people the best ways, and you know that you can do it too. And yeah,
I think that is one of those really important nuggets of information when you are the leader of the team, being able to do all the roles on the team because you have more empathy for individuals, first of all. But just like you mentioned, you can teach people how you want it done because you know how to do it efficiently. I think that is a very important piece of information there. I
yes.
want I want to ask you, what's the biggest piece of advice you would give your younger self with all that you've experienced? Obviously, you created a company, it's growing and it's gonna continue to grow, but there's always growing pains. Obviously, we have this platform so individuals who want to start a company or start something that they're passionate about, they don't make similar mistakes. Obviously, you have to make mistakes and learn from them. But if there was one piece other than buy the Bitcoin when it comes out, what would that nugget of information be?
Just I I would say, you know, if you're gonna have like someone that you're working with, or someone that you're going to invest with, make sure you're able to work well together with that person in business, because if you don't see eye to eye, it's not going to work. You know what I mean? And so yeah, I mean, really just being able to be on, just being able to work well with that other person if you are going in, with as a co-owner with someone. And then other than that, just continuing to persevere and pushing through, knowing that the odds will be in your favor if you just never give up and keep pushing forward, something will work out for you.
Perfect. Yeah, absolutely being resilient. Are you seeing that you have repeat customers? Like are the wedding planners going like great event, and they come back to you with the positive feedback that they're getting on the event, and then I always talk about when you work hard and you do a good job, your reputation speaks volumes. Uh, People don't think about the last, like it's your work ethic. People take notice of. I'm just curious. I can imagine, the way you mentioned your attendants work with the customers that are in there, the difference in a chandelier and backlighting and, a full mirror. Do you see those repeat customers coming your way?
Yeah, you know what? And I was talking to my with my dad about this the other day. It's like network marketing. I never took like business or anything like that, so I don't know like, I learn on the fly, but it's network marketing, but that's been the best clients, as years go by and we do a great job and do a great service and bring them a great product. They tell other people, and we get really good clients who tell other people. And yeah, that's been a lot of I've just seen that grow and grow and grow, is getting those, repeat customers, and then them telling, someone else about us. But those repeat clients, and the best, business really is word of mouth, you know what I mean? By showing how good you are and how good your product is and how good your service is and experience.
100%. I love it. Marketing on the fly, right? Like you just got to go and do it. Again, being resilient. Well, I can tell you I can't wait to work with you, Kevin, on we have events coming up and we will most definitely be reaching out for sure. I want to open up the floor to any questions from our listeners. I see Bianca's hand up. Go for it, Bianca.
Hi Kevin, how are
All
you?
right, good.
I have so I saw the portable um I saw your toilet, your bathrooms, they're very very nice. So I really want to know, how long does it take to construct one um luxury toilet? I'm sorry, what is it called? Deluxe toilet. I'm
Luxury
sorry.
restroom trailer.
Yeah, yes. How long
Yeah.
does it take to construct one? And have you ever considered pitching this idea on Shark Tank?
Oh, I love that question.
Yeah, well, it really depends on who's building it. I've gone through a couple different manufacturers. I'm designing the layout and like how I want it to be and like putting certain things in it, but I'm not actually welding it and like building the whole thing from the ground up, you know what I mean? So it depends on where you're building it. There's a place in Riverside, but now I've kind of moved my manufacturer, is in Indiana. So, it takes them about like a month. It just depends on how busy they
Wow.
are really. Yeah.
And have you ever have you considered pitching this idea on Shark Tank? I see
Um,
it on the show.
I've thought about it a little bit, but I'm just not sure how that would work because it's rentals but yeah, I mean, I've thought about it. It'd be awesome,
You
but
should.
yeah.
Really should. I get
It is a
Yeah,
great
it's
idea.
hard because you want to get busier. You want to get busier and you want to get the networks, but you have to be able to have the volume to be able to handle that. You do need to be able to have the drivers, you know what I mean? So everything kind of has to grow in unison. So, if you're gonna do something on Shark Tank and you're not, and you all of a sudden get all busy or get investment, you got to be able to have the workforce to be able to handle it all.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And that's where I think having those multimillionaires who are like, let me jump in and own part of your business, they always come in there. But yeah, that's a great idea. And I think a lot of, Ring doorbell, for example, which everyone has, that was a pitch from Shark Tank right there. So,
and
um,
Strip Daddy.
yeah. Like little things, they start small and then they expand. But yeah, that was a great question, Bianca.
Yeah. Thank you,
Uh,
Kevin.
Yeah, thank
yes.
you.
Presley, go ahead and ask your question.
Kevin, I just want to say a quick question. When you said you went to the Oscars after party, are you talking about the one that is recently?
It was an Oscars after party. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they have a few. We did one at the Sheets Goldstein residence. His name's James Goldstein. He owns a place up in Beverly Crest. You probably, if you watch Laker games and stuff, you've seen him. He's like an
He's the
older guy, white hair. Yeah.
super
So he owns
fan.
that place and they rent it out for venues. So we're actually the preferred venue there, the preferred vendor. So they have to use us. So they had an Oscars party. So I forgot who actually put it on, but yeah, that was one of the after parties we were at.
Oh, okay.
He's definitely probably one of the biggest NBA fans, and during playoff times you can see him literally flying from plane to plane to catch games. But yeah, he's a great guy and still has like one of the most old school Rolls Royces that he still drives
Oh
around. So
yeah.
yeah,
Yep. Yeah, it's there. It's there. I'm always
yeah,
like really careful. I'm like, oh man, the trailer's like 2 feet from it. Be careful, you know?
yeah. And he rents out his I don't know exactly what he did, but he's done something to make a ton of money. But I know that he rents out, like, he's got a Club James where it's like a club
Yeah.
in his house. Uh
Yep.
so
Yeah, they have restrooms
those
down
are
there and stuff.
definite
They have the
cool.
Club James and restrooms down there, but they get to a certain amount where like a certain amount of people where they need the additional restrooms, you know. We've done some really nice events there, a lot of good stuff.
And that's just to show you the caliber of, I mean, this is a multi uh millionaire, you know, and those type models and high class athletes, they expect something as luxurious as what Kevin is supplying. So um that's perfect. That was a great example. Noah, go ahead and ask your question. Noah,
when
go for it.
you're doing the when you're doing the trailers, like do you rent them out to charities? Also, how does it work regarding dangerous stunts when you're a medic?
That's a good question on the charity. So during the LA fires a couple in January, I got called from someone that we do events for, and he threw out our name to someone. There was a venue down in off Mateo Street in near downtown LA that they were turning the venue into a shelter for people who lost their homes. So they were doing, water, food, and all that. And they called me up. Luckily, we weren't too busy at the time. I had a 5 station like available, so I brought him a 5 station for free and was able to do that. So, people that were staying there were able to have a restroom and water and whatnot. We had there for 5 weeks. And the people that did my pumping for that, like I was telling you, I was trying to get the waste pumper. They also donated their time. And yeah, we were able to do that for charity. And, we'll do some, little things here and there if we're able to. And
Awesome.
what was the other question on the medic?
The stunts. He wants to know about the stunts on Criminal Minds and other shows.
Oh yeah, I mean, stunts are definitely like when you get your most injuries, and a lot of times for stunts too, though they'll bring in like when I used to work for an ambulance company, we'd be like a standby ambulance. So you'd have your set medic like me, and then also an extra ambulance on standby right there. So if something goes wrong, I can, treat them, do what I need to do, and then I can just send them off by an ambulance instead of having to like try to call 911 and all that. So, but yeah, stunts are definitely the most dangerous and they're prepped for the most. Yeah.
Perfect. Love it. Great questions. Kevin, I want to thank you again for your time. I want to give you again kudos for your award. You definitely have all of the skills that are needed to be a successful entrepreneur. I love how you talked about being resilient, working on the fly, constantly building, making sure things are growing at the proper rate.
Yes.
I look forward to just seeing continued success and growth and working together on some events. I know that you've got an amazing product and our customers want to have that experience. So I look forward to working together. Just want to wish you continued success and good health. And thank you again for joining us on Breaking the Biz tonight.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And just another thing I wanted to add, when you're in business, you're always learning. You always got to ask questions because you never really know anything. So like asking these questions, like, you know, Bianca and Presley and Noah, asking questions, it's all about learning and learning from other people and just continuing to learn and ask questions. So
And I'm glad you really pointed that out because no one expects you to know it all. And asking questions just shows that you're eager to learn. And most people would rather hire someone who is eager to learn, who can
yep,
be trainable versus that person who's coming out with the degree and thinks that, their poop don't stink. So, uh,
exactly.
ask questions is a, one of those nuggets of information that will get you extremely far. So thank you for mentioning
Yeah.
that again, Kevin.
hmm
On that note, everyone, have a fantastic rest of your evening. Thank you again, Kevin, and
Thank you.
continued success.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Peace out.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
As we conclude another enriching episode, we hope you found inspiration in the stories shared today. Let's take a moment to honor Yes I Can's role in bringing Breaking the Biz to life. Yes I Can's commitment to empowering young people with disabilities through education, advocacy, and mentorship shines brightly, paving paths of opportunity and dialogue. This podcast celebrates the organization's dedication to nurturing talent and facilitating impactful discussions. Breaking the Biz is more than a podcast. It's a part of Yes I Can's broader mission to amplify voices, dismantle barriers, and craft a world that's more inclusive and accessible for everyone. Each episode is a chapter in our shared narrative of progress, education, and empowerment, driven by the spirit of Yes I Can. Thank you for spending your time with us on Breaking the Biz. Continue to challenge the status quo and share stories that resonate. Until our paths cross again, let's keep transforming aspirations into achievements and infuse every endeavor with optimism. Here's to advancing the landscape of the entertainment industry, one episode at a time. I'm your host, William Felber. See you next time.